Hello everyone. Today's lesson is on how to create a Pareto chart in Excel without the aid of any specific macro or software. To save us some time, I have worked with some data here. As you can see on column B, I have a list of complaints. So imagine that you had a survey and you work with customers entering a grocery shop. And through the survey, you collected the answers on the top 10 issues that you may have with your grocery shop. The data that are displayed here is over 7 days of the week, so from Monday to Sunday, make it easy. And as you can see, for each one of the day of the week, we had a number of occurrences of responses from people stating that those top 10 complaints were at some point over the week an issue for them. Okay, so again, as an example, just some data so we can work with and build our Pareto chart. The first thing we need to do to create the Pareto chart is just to go through the data and prepare some more data that we need to plot in the chart itself. The first thing I'm going to do here is to sum up the occurrences of each of the 10 complaints. As I mentioned, I have data that go from Monday to Sunday, but I need that one total number so I can plot all of this on my Pareto chart. So I'm going to simply use the auto sum button here in Excel, and that should give me the total for the first complaint, limited parking between Monday and Sunday. If I simply drag down the cell, I will have then the summation for each one of the complaints, as you can see here. Great. So the next step, and this is important so we can actually create the Pareto effect on the chart, on a regular chart in Excel, we need to sort out the 10 complaints based on column J, total occurrences, from the largest to the smallest. So I'm going to simply highlight the rows of my 10 complaints, and through the menu Data and the option Sort, I need to go into Custom Sort here, column J, again the total occurrences for each one of the complaints, and I want to order all of the data from the largest to smallest. That should be a very easy task. And now I have all of my 10 complaints reordered from the largest to the smallest number of occurrences for each one of the complaints. Next step is to calculate the percentage of each one of them, each one of the complaints, in relation to the total number of responses. So I'm going to simply divide the total number of occurrences of the first complaint, now sorted, which is lack of cashiers, divided by the total number of responses, 1,000. And here's a little trick that we can use. If you put a $sign before the letter J and before the number 14 up here, it will make that cell locked in. And I'm doing this because 1,000 doesn't change. I'm dividing each one of the total occurrences by 1,000. Once again, I can simply drag the cell down to get the percentage for each one of the complaints. I had already formatted my cell as a percentage number. If you haven't, it's very easy. You can simply go to Home, and here's the button. To save us some time, I already formatted in the way that I wanted to present. And the summation obviously here is 100%. Now I'm ready to create the percentage cumulative curve that I will plot in my Pareto chart. The first value is simply the first value, which is 56%. Now I want to start adding that first value to the next. And now I'm going to do my second value, 79%, plus the third, and so on. If you simply select the two cells and once again drag it down, you will have the percentage cumulative data series up until 100%, which is what we want to work with the graph. Great. So now we are ready to create the Pareto chart. I'm going to select my complaints list because I want to see that list on my graph. And now you have to press the Control key on your keyboard and keep it pressed so you can move over to the occurrences column, column J, and select those values, row 3 to 13, and still pressing the Control key on your keyboard, you also want to select percentage cumulative. There we go. And those are the three columns that we need to work with the graph. Okay, so now what I want to do is to go to the Charts menu, and I want to insert a column, a clustered column, a very simple column chart that will look like this. I'm going to enlarge the graph here a little bit so it's easier for you to see. And there we go. Now we need to do some work here. As you can see, the percentage cumulative, it is not actually showing the way that I want to show on a Pareto chart. It's actually very small, but it's showing here as a column, and we don't want that. So I'm going to click once over the chart to select it, and on the chart layout, right here on the left top side of the screen, I'm going to open up this drop box here and select the data series that I want to change the format, which is percentage cumulative in this case. Once I have done that, I will click on Format Selection. And all I wanted to do here really is to create a secondary axis, a vertical axis. So under the option axis here, I can plot series on secondary axis. There we go. Now what we have to do is to make that red bar chart that is overlapping with the blue one, which is the occurrences, and make that a line graph. I'm already selected all the red columns here. I can simply go back to my charts menu and then pick line. So that red bar graph becomes a line graph on top of the blue bars that are showing occurrences. There we go. And you also see your secondary vertical axis here, which is now percentage cumulative. A little bit of cosmetics, if you like. You can move this legend here, for example, to the bottom. You can also add a title to your chart by clicking on Chart Layout and picking the option here. For example, Title Above Chart. I'm just going to call this one here as Pareto Chart for Customers Complaints. And obviously, if you want to do more cosmetics, you can. But that's how a Pareto chart should look like, and that's how you can actually build a Pareto chart in Excel without any of the add-ons or add-ins or macros that many softwares out there actually provide you with. Lastly, if you want to kind of understand a little better the methodology here, if you add data labels to the curve here, add data labels, you will see that this Pareto chart illustrates the principle behind the approach here, which is almost 80%, 79% and change of the complaints in this example are coming from 20% of the issues. And that is the 80-20 rule that Wilfredo Pareto, the creator of the Pareto chart and the Pareto approach, described back then. So there you have it. I hope you have learned how to effectively create a Pareto chart in Excel without having to install any add-in or add-on or any specific macro. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.